I'm Chaco Vadake, and welcome to this episode of Boleh the Podcast. I'm delighted to introduce our guest for this session, Irene Ang. She's a dear friend and a sometime colleague, but more importantly, she's a remarkable person who's dealt with some of the toughest cards possible as a child, and she has come out flying. She's a much beloved person in Singapore, Malaysia, on Netflix, in other countries as Rosie of hit Singapore TV series Phua Chu Kang. She's also the trailblazing founder of the first artist management company in Singapore, Fly Entertainment, the premium artist management company now in Singapore. She's many things, and to help me find out her story, I am very pleased to bring up onto the screen my colleague on Boleh the Podcast, Zahir Merchant.
Hi, I'm Zahir. It's great to be here together with Chaco, and we're really excited to be doing this interview with a star like Irene Ang.
Hello.
Hi, Irene.
Hi, Zahir and Chaco, which I fondly call hubby.
Yes.
My name is
we
Irene.
We shared an apartment once. Long ago.
We used to share when we were much younger and poorer. And yes, hi everyone in Malaysia and all around the world. Thank you for having me, guys. We have been planning this from like way before COVID till now. So let's hope that we have a great session today.
Yeah, let's start.
Let's roll.
Irene, I thought I knew you well, but just looking at some of the research that our producer Khadija has done, your childhood was quite very different to what most of us, I think, have experienced. And I didn't realize the challenges that you faced. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up?
Just to summarize my childhood, because we don't have much time, but my father was a gangster and my mother was a drug abuser, and they got married at a very young age. They're both teenagers. I was born after my brother. My mother got pregnant, so my grandmother wanted my father to be responsible, even though he had another girlfriend at the time. And so that was the start of my family life. And then 2 years later, my brother got very sick, and then they brought him to a Chinese medium. And the Chinese medium said that he's very lonely. That's why he's going to die if he had no playmate. So that was how I was born, as the playmate for my brother. And I only knew about it as like, how come every time I play with him, catching or whatever, 0 point, I always have to lose to him, even though I'm better, And then my auntie one day said, oh, but you need to know that you are conceived for a purpose. And then things got worse. My dad continues to have many girlfriends, and my mother continues to be in depression very often. And one day her friends introduced her to drugs, and then she doesn't smoke and she doesn't drink, but the friends say, you know why you're so troubled, your husband hurt you so much, blah blah blah, you try to take this, you will feel so much better about yourself, you'll be floating. And the first straw was free, the second straw was free, and then you get hooked, and then when you get the third straw, you started to pay. You started having to pay for it, And then she does go around and do all sorts of things to try to maintain that habit, So to summarize further, she was in and out of rehab for a long time. She will proudly tell you she belongs to the first batch of women prison in the Changi prison in Singapore, because in those days they don't have rehab; they just put everybody in the prison, right? Wow. And I used to have to take, because Changi is right at the end, where our airport is, and then I know Malaysia is very big, but Singapore, like if you stay in Queenstown, go to Changi is very far, And in the 70s, my aunties used to, her sisters used to like come and fetch me and then go to Changi. And sometimes she will do some naughty thing, and by the time we travel there, we cannot see her because like she's barred from meeting people. I mean, you lawyers would know, right?
Gosh.
And
so these challenges, how did they shape you to become the person you are today?
I'm very fortunate that I have an enormously, like, amazingly strong grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who loved me, myself and my brother dearly, And my father had like 8 other siblings, and I grew up with my aunties and uncles when they were teenagers, when they were young adults. They all took turn to look after my brother and myself. So how did it shape me is that, like, in today's context, I mean, life is so hard, and young people having a lot of mental challenges, especially with the COVID. And what I tell them is that, living is much easier than dying, because all through my teenage life, I've tried to kill myself. I have so low self-esteem, and if you know me as you know me, I'm like, life is so short. You want to do something, just do it. So that shaped me, because I realized from a young age that nobody's going to hand like a free lunch to you. Everything that I wanted from a child, from the time I was a child, I had to work for it. Like if I want to buy a pair of sports shoes, a goggle or a swimming costume, I teach swimming. I joined the school CCA, like the activities in school, just so that I could make money from them. So I became a school swimmer, so I could teach in the public pools, $15 every Saturday, Sunday. I got $30 that I could use for the next week's allowance.
Sorry, I was just about to jump in and ask, because you're a phenomenal swimmer and you're also an incredible fencer. You represented Singapore, won a silver medal. Was that kind of the inspiration to go into sport as well? Or was
No. I mean, in school, when I do sports, it was like, hey, you know what? I was a lifeguard and I did sports because I was not academic. So three things, three reasons why I went into sports is, number one, I could use it to make money. I could train, I could teach, I could coach. Number two, because I'm not good at study, it was to mask my badness in the academics side. I will hang like my trophies and my medals at my window, so that my neighbors who walk past cannot say, hey, she's very stupid, she's useless, because I was an avid athlete, right? So I think it shaped me in the sense that I think my childhood taught me that, nothing is unattainable, because when you do sports, you train for a medal, you train for a competition. Number two, it trained me perseverance. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Certain matches you lose, certain matches you win. And when you lose, it doesn't mean that you're a bad fencer. Fencing also taught me strategy, because fencing is all about strategy. It's a combination of chess and ballet, so I like it because it's graceful. Fencing is a graceful sport, and it's very gentlemanly. You have to salute even your opponent. You have to salute everybody. I like that it's a very gentlemanly sport, and it taught me strategy. Knowing your opponent. Like, if your opponent, I happened to be fighting the Malaysian champion in 1991 SEA Games, and everyone is so afraid of her because she was the previous SEA Games gold medal. And because I was new and she didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who she was, and everybody was like sneakering behind, oh, she's going to get it from her. But because I didn't know who she is, I just went ahead and just attack. And then I realized that she's an attacker also. Then somebody taught me that, you know what, I should just retract and tire her out, make her so tired. So I changed my strategy halfway through, and I just won her by 1 point, and everyone was shocked because she was a very strong opponent, and she was like the gold medal, and she and even the Malaysians clapped for me because they were surprised anyone could beat her. Even the Malaysians were, they caught themselves, and then my team was like, nobody dare to play her. Because you have to draw lots, right? Then I didn't know who she was, right? So I just couldn't play with her lah.
Irene, so your mantra is be the change you want to see.
Exactly.
And I think you've already indicated how that came up to be. Is that still your mantra as you go on?
I think that's my life mantra. When I was in primary school, I happened to be introduced to a man called Gandhi, who looked exactly like you, Chakra. And that's why I'm so fond of you, right? Because you reminded me of Gandhi.
I played Gandhi in LA on stage, actually.
So I thought, and I saw this poster in school, right? There was 2 posters, actually. There was Mother Teresa and there was Gandhi. And, like along the school hallway, you have that. And I just thought, wow, this makes sense to me, from the time I was a child. I mean, like, be the change you want to see. And I went to ask the adult, what does it mean? So they told me that if you don't like something, don't wait for someone to change. You change it yourself. And that's why you see me always taking control of situations, whether it's people say they don't like, oh, our government is this, our government is that, or they don't give us enough grants or whatever. Then you look at the other country, then you look, my government not so badly, then you try to understand. So during COVID, I give you an example, right? During COVID, the thing that I do religiously is to tune into all the news channel, go into all the government website, the ministries, the health, the ones that's in charge of trade for SMEs, whatever grants they have. I don't care whether I qualify or don't. I just apply for all the grants and all the handouts, and because I learned from the previous crisis, SARS and tsunami, that I was too proud, that I think I'm self-made. I never took a single cent from my Singapore government. So I actually lost out. So at the very start of COVID, I promised myself I must apply for every single available.
But what did you do with it? I mean, like you went and upskilled or everything, or
so what? I upskilled my people for free.
Oh, fantastic.
I got grants to keep my F&B because I have 3 F&B outlets as well. I keep my F&B because F&B was the most badly hit. Till today, I never had to retrench a single staff from my many businesses because of these grants that help you. But it's just putting down your pride and taking time to understand whatever handouts the government have, which I used to have a problem with because I'm so proud that I'm self-made. I don't need the government money. I can support myself, But this COVID really, I was so glad I made the right decision because at the end of 2020, I think the total amount that I managed to get from the government was about 300,000 Singapore dollars.
Wow.
And for all my businesses, and that really helped us stay afloat till today.
And all the people who work for you must be so grateful that they managed to,
But I don't know. I believe they do, but I don't know. And I didn't do it for them. You know what I mean? Again, it goes to the principle of doing what is right and taking things into my own hands and having control over my situation. So
So you're most famous as Rosie Phua, as in Phua Chu Kang.
We're all fans, I used to come back religiously and watch you just for that. So you have to tell us about it.
I mean, coming to that point, it's very funny. The Malaysians love the show, I think, because we are the only show that laugh at Singapore, right? we will laugh at ourselves. And the Singaporeans love it because we are the only one that dare to say the things that we talk in a coffee shop, but nobody dare to say in public, right? Yeah. So and it's also not that PCK didn't have his flag. Like, we get a lot of attack by people who say that, we don't speak proper English. Right. We were even mentioned on National Day by the then Prime Minister Goh Chok Tong, about like kids should not be watching our show. We're learning all this, but unbeknownst to them, and Chaco knows all of them. These are lawyers as well. And like Keng Hoa and Miss Williams, I mean, these are very well educated, proper English speaking people, but we're just actors, right? So how I get into PCK was a joke, lah. Unlike some of my peers, I've never wanted to be an actress. It wasn't in my list. I wanted to be a lawyer, remember?
Yeah.
So
you could help your parents, right? Because your parents needed.
Yes, my parents are always in trouble. So when I was growing up, I think that my grandmother have to pawn this, pawn that, sell house, sell the church to get my dad out of trouble, and then I have to pawn this, pawn that. And my aunties have to, So I thought, what? I wanted to be a lawyer. So if I'm a lawyer, I can save money for my family, right? But obviously, I wasn't so good. I did all the right thing, I made sure I was a leader. I got A1 for GP. I was in the debates team to practice my future career, And then, of course, I tried to pass my A math 3 times and I failed. So in Singapore, you need to have math. I didn't understand that, but now I do because now my corporate lawyer tell me, no. We have to look at your tax. So I know, that's what the math is for. I thought just help criminals, And now I have like a lot of lawyers friends, right, in Singapore. But how I got into PCK was quite funny. In 1993 and 94, I had a very bad breakup in a relationship, and I was in depression. I was also suicidal for a short time. I had a friend who gave me a book, and the book is written by this guy called Og Mandino, Ogmandino, the greatest salesman in the world. So I thought it was like one of those sales books. Nonetheless, my friend gave me a couple of his books that say this guy will speak to you. I said, I don't want one of those preaching book, like this. I also was a backslidden Christian at that point of time, and I said, you know what, I had enough of all this, like hypocrites, But when you get to right to the bottom, you have nothing else to cling on at the age of 25. You just open the book, right? Because there's nothing else. So I read the book. I enjoyed the book, and I read all the books that my friend gave me. And one of the key things that I took away, and that's what I do with every book that I have now. One of the key, I would take a key message or lesson from each book that I read. So one of the key message from Mendino was, at your worst, right, go and help someone. Simple logic. So go and help someone. And I'm like, I really cannot take care of myself. I'm in depression. I'm broke. I'm so hurt. I don't even want to leave already. Ask me to go and help people some more. Okay, never mind. I'm an open-minded person, right? So I said, okay, I will try. So I went to volunteer myself in Action for AIDS as the person that carried the box, because since I'm very chatty, I will go to the box and, hi, it's Chaco, would you like to donate? We're raising funds for Belly Under the Stars, and then when people were picnicking at the Belly Under the Stars, I would go around and ask for donation. Then there was this talent contest at Boom Boom Room, and then I was the person carrying the box to try to chocho people to drop money into the box. Then someone came to me and said, oh, we're in trouble today. I said, why? Because today is the finals for the Karaoke Contest fundraising. And out of the 12 contestants, 9 are singing Chinese songs, Cantonese song, Canto pop. And I'm saying, so what's the problem? They say, oh, that host is Kumar. Then I'm like, okay. Because it was just write honey opinion for him, phonetically write out. They say, no, he doesn't want to do. And so I said, then they look at me, can you read Chinese? I'm like, my Chinese is still not very good, but these songs, I happen to go karaoke, right? So I know these songs, even though they are written in all these old Chinese, right? Mandarin Chinese words. But I know the songs and I know the singers, Jackie Chong, and Anita Mui that time. And so I said, I'll do it. And they just put me on the seat and pray, blah, 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 blah. And since I'm not paid, and I've done hosting in school, back in school, I thought, okay, I'll just have fun. So I would make fun of the singer, or I would directly translate the song. Like that Jackie Chong has a very famous song called 我等到花儿也谢了, and I just literally translate oh, he waited until the flower died. It worked with the audience, right? So I just went on, and then the night passed through very fast. And at the end of the night, I don't know if you know, the creator of Under One Roof, the first successful sitcom before PCK, the creator of Under One Roof, Andrea, came up to me and said, you are very funny, naturally funny. How come I never seen you before? I said, I'm not even a host. I'm here to replace Kumar. And then she said, can you come and warm up my live audience for me? I said, what's that? He said, oh, for our live taping, people watch at home is 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, the sitcom. But when we have live audience, it's kind of like theater. You have to keep their interest going, and the recording can go up to 4 or 5 hours for a half an hour sitcom. And we just need someone to talk to them when we say cut. Then I thought, okay, I can do that. So one thing led to another. I started doing wabi. We call it a wabi. So all the live audience, when they say cut, that's when I work. The action, then I keep quiet. Cut, then I will talk to the audience. I will tell jokes. I will give away potato chips. I'll give away sandwich, bao, all this. And I did that for 3 years. And I really, what Mandino said was right. I really got out of the depression. And I really
enjoyed it. Did you really
enjoy it? I enjoyed that. I have not stopped since then till now in different capacity. Now my cause is homeless. That's another story. During COVID, what more homeless people. But I really, whenever I feel down or feel lousy about myself, the first instinctive thing to do is to go and help someone worse than me. Last year, I let fly in with this Giving SG Christmas and visit the homeless under the bridge and all that. So it's a different thing. But what I want to say is that helping someone had actually led to me getting out of depression, which then led me to becoming spotted, because after I was working for 3 years, they were auditioning for PCK, and and they had tried so many actresses in Singapore and even Malaysian actresses, and they even went to all the theatre and get all the famous people and all the veterans. They just couldn't find the right fit. And I went to the audition because I was doing the lobbying for another sitcom where they all turned to me and it's like, oh my God, I think the character talks like you. Dad, who talk like me? And then they said, what are you doing tomorrow? Then working. Because at that time I was selling insurance. I said, but they said, what time are you free? I said, oh, usually lunchtime and dinner time I go and meet clients. Then the in between there's a window slot like 3 to 5. Then they say, okay, can you come down tomorrow? And they give me 2 paper. And they say, we circle this, Rosie, you go and memorize. Next day, when I went there, I returned the paper to them. I said, as you know, academically, I'm very bad. I cannot memorize one. I can bullshit like math I cannot. Like history and management or commerce, like those writing, like literature, or bullshit that I can. The type memorize one, a formula, all this, I cannot, And then they said, never mind, since you already here, just talk to the camera. So they gave me different scenarios. Of course, now I know it's called improv. At the time, I didn't know what was improv. So they say, okay, the director is standing next to the camera. He's your husband. You're angry. He come back with alcohol smell. And then there's a lipstick mark. Then I, blah, blah, blah. Okay, now you trying to seduce him because you're trying to get money to go for your slim rat and your mahjong. Then I said, I don't do slim rat. Then they said, no. Okay, then do you play mahjong? I said, at that time I played mahjong, right? So I said, yeah. So now you need to get him to give you $500 to go play mahjong. So I didn't know it was improv, so I did it. And then the next day they called me, they said, oh dear, we have good news and bad news for you. I said, what is give me the bad news first. Oh, the bad news is you start next week.
Wow.
I also read for the worker. They say they thought they will have one stupid worker, fat one, and then one woman worker that is clumsy one. So I said, oh, great. I said, so I was suggesting to them what I want to do as a worker, right? Because I'm not even an actor. I said, hey, if I get the worker one, I want to wear those jumper, like very cool. They say, no, you didn't get the worker. That's the good news. Then, no, that's the bad news. They said, what did I get? Then they said, oh, you got the wife.
Wow.
And then I'm like, are you serious? I said, okay, this. Then they said I have to go to the TV station reception to collect my script. When I went there, it was 2 books. Okay, it was two episodes. And then I said, excuse me, I cannot do 2 pages. You give me 2 books. Are you all right? And they said, no. The first episode, we will take our time. We will rehearse with you for 2 weeks, and then we will shoot. And then we will not shoot in front of a live audience yet. Only the 3rd app onwards or 4th or some few apps later. Then I went there, and then that's how it started. I didn't expect it to last so long. Huh?
You and Gurmit knew each other in school, right?
Yeah, that was the worst part, right? Day 1 of script read, bring the script, do it. Already panicking that 2 books I was hosting. Okay, memorized like math, still cannot get into the head. But then they say as they were rehearsed. So I sat down, not even knowing. So I saw him walk in, because back in school, he was my NPCC sir. So we're National Police Cadet Corps. So he was my inspector then when I was in secondary school. And he used to punish me. I'm same year as his sister, Ranjit. No, Ranjit, yeah. Ranjit and I were schoolmates, same batch. So Ranjit and I, we will go to his house. And then when he's coming home, we will all run. And then after that, when I sat down and he walked in, I'm like, oh, hey, hi, sing, sir. Then he's like, what are you doing here? Drop 10. And that's our running gag. So after that, I found out that he was playing my husband. It was quite traumatizing because I'm so scared of him. How can I ever scold him or flirt with him? So actually the audience cannot tell. A lot of the very physical scene, like, touchy and all this, is extremely uncomfortable for both of us, because like for a long time we have this every time I see him I have to salute him kind of relationship, and for me to be able to flirt with him and to scold him and sit on him, it's been so hard,
But it comes across as extremely natural, I mean, whether it's how you orchestrated it or however you did it, it's just been very, very natural over time. How do you manage that then?
there's one thing, and one thing good that Gurmit is a very proper guy, not like some other actors, but very proper, very, very staunch Christian. I call him Pastor Singh, by the way. You know, he's very exemplary. He's very proper. And if you watch the show, and this is a secret, right? If you watch entire season, any of those intimate scenes, right? You never see us actually do it, like kissing or touching. The furthest we could go is me sitting on his lap or hugging him. It's a little bit like Shah Rukh Khan. You know, Shah Rukh Khan, he acts in all this show, he's the male lead. He never really does any bed scene or kissing scene. It's always like about to kiss and then cut off. and whereas other male lead in Bollywood would have, you know, go a little bit further. So I guess we took the fun, we had fun out of trying to hide it and tricking the audience. Right. That's how we do it. And
chemistry, because you've got the chemistry there, so people just see that. That for the chemistry with actually all the cast, you know, particularly with Gurmit, of course, I'm so thankful because it's something that I don't think we could create or we could build. It was something that during rehearsal we had so much fun, and Gurmit being the lead of the family, bring a lot of like fun. Like on the actual day, for example, in the taping in front of a 200 strong live audience, we have this challenge on who can catch who unaware. So, for example, I'm supposed to go and take the chicken wing at this line, right? Somehow he will finish the chicken wing, then I got no more chicken wing to take, you know. So the audience always get fresh because I had to react to that. Or let's say I'm supposed to go to the fridge, the kitchen, and bring out a juice for Margaret, right? And the juice will not be there. You know, so on the live taping, we had this like sabo each other to keep each other on our toes. I think that comes out as our chemistry, because we know that someone's going to sabo my next scene, but I don't know who, and I don't know who's going to be the one being sabotaged. So all of us are kept while remembering our lines, our actions. We still have to watch out for the sabotage. You have to improvise or something.
Yeah, like someone will put a packet of the potato chips on the sofa cushion, and when I sat down, there will be a brat sound. And then
Irene, what's amazing is that throughout the time, right? I mean, if you look, Phua Chu Kang has been for a very long period of time.
8 seasons, I think, right?
8 seasons, yeah. So the allure
more than
of
that.
Phua Chu
It's
Kang,
more than that. Like
I think
12.
it's more than that. But it's just that over time itself, the chemistry being as good as it is, you're having put Singapore on a map to some extent because of Phua Chu Kang. All of that has led to it being ingrained in people's minds. So much so that when the government did the immunization campaign, there was this "Get your shot, steady pom PP," because it's so memorable.
Allergies, all these can take. There you see. If not sure, relax, don't panic. Ask your doctor at the clinic. It's safe for most, including elderly, cause the government got checked properly. Singapore, don't wait and see. Better get your shot. Steady from BP. Faster go and vaccinate. Don't delay, wait. But COVID numbers now so low. Why take now? Just take it slow. Low cases isn't no cases. Don't sabo and throw our faces. The vaccine don't just protect us, it lessens the spread. Now that's the plus. We don't catch it means we don't spread it like that. That can keep people safe, guys.
Maybe you can just give us a little bit of insight on that.
I think, firstly, this is not the first time that we were, the PCK family or whichever character is used for government campaigns. And you are right to say that it is the most recognizable family in Singapore, and the most recognizable characters are all these people inside. They represent different groups. So, for example, in the past, Gurmit and myself has been on the train. When you go into the MRT, you will see me doing this and like, give way to old people, Then they'll have a bubble coming out, give way to old people. Then after that, I will have this pregnant pose and say like, hey, I'm pregnant, let me have your seat, you know. So we have been used for like fun things. So when the government, I suspect, that may not be the truth, in case they sue me, I suspect when the government need to give a very bad news or need to coax people to do something, and they know that their messaging can be turn a deaf ear too, right? They're like, get the PCK family. They will listen to them. So I suspect we are the unofficial, how do you call it, influencer for them. I'm the devil. He's the angel. Like I'm asking all these questions, like, oh, you know what if I got side effect? What? So the entire thing was me. My role was to say what the common people are saying, to say
what their fears and anxiety,
all their fears and anxiety, all the excuses or all the reluctance, right? And then Glony is like, don't worry, I checked already, blah 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 blah. So I think we can be effective that way, and for that I'm so thankful, because like, you know, for a girl that never thought that she would be anything in life but just want to do her best to survive, you know, and be the change that she wants to see, that we can be used today to impact changes and help people. I just even till today I find it so bizarre how I even landed on the role of Rosie, how like in today's context I sit on many boards to make a difference in people, and I volunteer. I mean, on top of that, I go and volunteer some more on things that the causes that touch my heart. Having been homeless before, I now have a heart for the homeless cause. So whilst I can't be delivering food and blankets and beds and all that all the time, but I could use my influence as a star or an actress to impact and bring out awareness, and also do a lot of hostings. I hosted already 3 times, like their conference and stuff, how to eradicate homelessness in Singapore. I mean, we can use our talents in different places, you know, and we use our talents, and everyone can contribute in different ways. That's the one thing I want to tell everyone, you know, no matter how bad your situation is, there is someone worse than you. You know, there's someone who needs your help. You know, and helping people, actually you're not benefiting them. There's so much return to yourself. You know, you reap so much more when you extend your hand and when you help people. The feeling, the joy is a little bit selfish speaking, is the joy is more to you, you know.
That's fantastic, Irene. And so from Phua Chu Kang, a while with your success for that, you went into stand-up comedy, right?
I said, wow, si buay hamper, si buay loli leh. I said, bola, hamper, si loli. Hey, this is the most precious lesson. Anyone from sales must learn. Because when you sell to a beng, you cannot sell 1 item, 2 item, 3 item. Everything must be in the si loli, okay? Mao San Wang si loli, Gelam Che Sabo si loli, Pia Chui si loli, Simi Sai put si loli. Okay? And that year, I sold 42 lolly to Ahwad's friend of hamper, and I emerged top sales in Bloomdale. Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit?
That's the unfortunate path we have to take. You see, like in the US and Australia, you are first a stand-up comedian first, and then talent scouts go to these stand-up bars or comedy clubs, and then you get spotted, then you are put on TV, right? Ours is the reverse. We are all on TV, and then we are asked to do stand-up. Like, hey, you are so good in PCK. You must be funny. But stand-up is actually the thing that it's the hardest thing to do, you know. That's my biggest fear as an artist. I do a lot of things. I do motivational speaking. I act in Mandarin, English, TV, movies. But the hardest thing in my context is actually stand-up. Because stand-up, you cannot, like, as a singer, right, you are good at this 3 song, La Vie and Rose, and you just keep singing the 3 song and people will still enjoy because you are good at it. But every single stand-up, I have to write new material. And prior to the stand-up, I need to like scout. In the past, my biggest source of jokes come from the newspaper, of course, because there's a lot of funny things that our government do, or your government do, or some US government do. That's funny, right? Or some new laws or new policies that come out, or new trends. But today's context, you have to scout the internet to find out that what are the things people are saying, what's trending on social media, what's trending on Facebook, what's the new dance on TikTok. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So clients don't understand. They're like, hey, how come her hosting for 3 hours is cheaper than her stand-up for half an hour? Then my managers will say, because that takes 3 weeks of work for you to get that solid 30 minutes of stand-up. So yes, so I would try to avoid stand-up as much as I can, but sometimes the
So,
money
okay,
quite good.
trade secret. Now you're going to share a trade secret with us. But how do you deal in the course of a stand-up comedic routine with, let's say, if somebody doesn't engage, the audience doesn't laugh or doesn't clap at a particular funny joke? Are you like, I mean, with all this resilience that you've built up, how do you get over it and move to the next thing?
What I typically do is to laugh at them not laughing at me. I would just, not funny at that one. Okay, move on. You know what I mean?
Good
I would address the elephant in the room, and then I would say that it is not funny, or I would say I will fire my writer, which actually I don't have a writer, right? Effectively, right? Then I'll say, okay, mental note taken, fire writer Harry, but Harry is not my writer, but he cannot use for all
Harry.
sorts of, Harry's my PA, right? Yeah.
Your whipping boy.
Yes, my 18 years PA, I'm so glad God has given me Harry, and I would not have survived a day in COVID without him, because I'm a tech idiot, right? I will be on the call with him the whole time. Okay, now I press what, and you saw it just now, right?
So
yeah,
well, from stand-up, and maybe the V conference, is that still happening every year? That's yours.
Well, we did it for a couple of years. Then everyone got busy, and I'm glad everyone got busy and very popular. Like Enlai is like a huge star now on news, right? They do the fake news thing, and then he's very popular. I mean, so we got very busy, but I would definitely want to bring it back once this COVID thing and readjusting back is normal to normal, because the V conference effectively was very, it was an outlet for it doesn't make money, by the way, but it was an outlet for all of us to sort of have fun and take a jab on current situation, and it's less scary than stand up, because you kind of do the same thing as stand up, but you act it out, and if it's not funny, it's the script writer's fault, so it's okay. And what I like about the V conference is that there's a lot of things in today's context we cannot do on YouTube and Facebook because people are so sensitive. But V conference is kind of still like theater. So people come with the expectation, with an open mind, that they can still laugh at things and get away with it. And so I find today the hardest thing to do is being myself or saying things on social media, because everyone's so sensitive. Even if I were to put an Indian accent, which I like to joke with my friend off camera, hey Day, come on, what time already, Day? Like if you put it on social media and you do it on TikTok, you will get backlash. And in the past, you can, when you see a Malay friend, and then you can go all Malay accent, hey sister, long time no see, yeah. And then now you also cannot, because you're a public figure. Why are you, even things that you do casually, right? People like to judge and say, but you're a public figure, you put on public platform, that is wrong. So I feel like very limited, and so yes, if I get the opportunity and time, I would very much prefer to bring back V conference in a very because V conference, unlike theater, traditional theater, we always do it at clubs. So we do it at Zoo, we do it at all this St. James and all that, and we will usually be the biggest hall, and it fits us well, because the party goers only go at 10 p.m. and we do from 7 to 9:30, and then it comes with 2 drinks. And usually for me to get some alcohol sponsor is very easy. We get some beer or some whiskey or some gin sponsors, and it comes with the free drink. And so I think when people have some drinks, it helps them to relax, and we also appear more funny. So so V conference.
We've become, I think you're right, we've become so woke in today's world that I guess maybe we should be a little eased up. But I mean from obviously from alcohol, let's move on to the next happy topic, which is your own entrepreneurship, your restaurants, your bar. Tell us a little bit
By
about that.
entertainment. I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
First
okay.
baby.
Okay, okay.
So my first baby was Fly Entertainment, right? So that I formed in 1999. It's turning 23, so it's no longer a teenager, it's an adult now, you know. So I have like foster parents like Ling and Cindy, my original staff, you know. And we recently just brought back one of the original manager from
Naomi,
Fly
I heard.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Naomi is and it's okay. What made me really happy with Naomi coming back is just a sidetrack a bit, is that they still see Fly as a family, you know, from the onset when I started Fly, and Chaco knows it's very family. And over the last few years, because of Survivor, we have to put in all these KPI lah, appraisal lah, which are things that I loathe. Okay, but having Naomi come back, you know, my first thing to her is that, Naomi, please bring back the fun. And I would like to say that as Fly grew bigger, I am actually sadder, you know, because I don't have time to have that individual touch with my artists. I used to spend a lot of time, and Chaco knows, people break off, come to our balcony, and then we talk for hours. People couple fight.
Right.
Stay in your flat with you.
Yeah. And I have counselings there, you know. I have so much time to spend with, or play mahjong or Scrabble or hang out or drink. But now as it grows and it becomes more successful, it's harder, because I'm a people person, right? I need to have, like, you know, I need to have people touch lah, you know. So I find it harder, and also now I have more businesses. And that's the reason why I started also. And unfortunately, as Fly grew bigger, we don't have enough people to manage so many people, and we are the victim of our own success, right? Because then the older artists will say we don't get that kind of touch from Irene anymore, or, you know, everything is not so, like, cannot go direct to the boss, that kind. But it's also my fault, because I had so many interest level, right? Then after that, halfway through 10 years ago, I decided to venture into F&B, you know, and then I realized I cannot sign so many people, and an idea came to me. Okay, and idle mind is the devil's best workshop, but then I didn't want to keep myself idle. So during COVID, while waiting for things to happen, and things that I cannot control, which is all the government rules of opening, closing, I decided to get into the grants, right? And I actually applied for grants it's a productivity grant from the government, and I actually built an app. And I'm so immensely proud of the Tada casting app, because I am a tech idiot. For a tech idiot to be able to complete and build an app, it's a very big achievement. It's like I got a master degree in something.
I know. That's really,
you've unearthed
really
so much talent as well. I mean, you really have unearthed talent, and that talent has now made itself known worldwide because of Crazy Rich Asians as well, right?
So Crazy Rich Asian did help, like, this part of Singapore, Malaysia, right? People are seeing that we have really solid talent, and I mean, Chaco's been to the circuit, LA and all this. There are a lot of Asians, very good Asians in LA, in UK, in New York, but actually, I feel that these Asians here need to showcase their talents more to the world. But I was surprised that, you know, someone like from our own Singapore, Malaysia, which is not the Michelle Yeoh, you know, can do the same thing. Then it made me think, there are so many more great actors. But to me, I don't see like, you are Malaysia, I'm Singapore. I see us as Asian, you know. And to me, Asian pride is very important, you know, because when I watch Hollywood shows, or COVID got more time to watch Netflix and all that. Strangely, I don't watch my own show, but I watch a lot of Bollywood show, and I watch a lot of, like, inspiring shows to keep the spirit going. I just keep thinking who I want to cast inside, you know, like who I know in Asia. And so so when we did like other projects like Mulan and Westworld, when they did the casting in this part of Asia, we find that there is a demand in the West, there is supply in in Asia, but they don't know how to get the supply, and the supply don't know who to go in the West.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to set up Tada. Hopefully, when I go to Malaysia, Chaco can introduce all his friends, and then they all go into the Tada. Then I can start, like next year, I can start bringing in productions and clients into Tada. So this year, we're trying to get everybody to sign up Tada first, so that if I'm a Hollywood or I'm a producer or a director, I go into Tada, I'm like, look, it's like the LinkedIn for performance. So Tada's goal is to be the LinkedIn for performers, whether you're a singer, stand-up, you're an actor, you're a voice artist. You just, if you need, it's search like Google. I will just search bald Indian talented man with great voice. Then maybe Chaco and 5 other men will come out, right? You know,
Okay.
And then they can select. They can select and say they want a meeting with you, or they can give you a script. So everything is done on the app. So it cuts down traveling time. It cuts down. It helps you to search faster. Yeah.
So Irene, before we end, I think Zahir was wanting to know about your F&B and Fry Rooftop Bistro and Soy Candy you opened during COVID, right?
I think I'm mad, right? Do you think I'm mad? A lot of my friends say I'm mad.
Little bit.
Okay, why did I do that? As I mentioned, I'm a people-driven person. So during the first 6 months of the circuit breaker, where we had to close everything, and everything was delivery, the one that's most badly hit was my bar. So Bar Naked was very hit. And so we tried to move the people to the Rooftop Bistro, which is the other outlet, but there's no customer either. So they help to pack boxes, they help to do delivery for nearby places. We even thought of buying them a bicycle, they can help. So we can save on all the Grab and all that, and that didn't work as well. And so they were getting very restless. And remember, I said I promised myself at the start of COVID that I would not retrench anyone. So I was trying to find things for them to do, right? So I said, okay, guys, you know what? Since the bar cannot be open, why don't you all free go and walk around the Chinatown vicinity where we are and look for opportunity, right? As they say, crisis brings forth opportunity. And they say, what kind of opportunity? I said, any bar closed down or any restaurant closed down, don't need to redo the kitchen, because in F&B, the renovation and the kitchen cost you the most. Right. So I said, I'm looking for a place with kitchen. Then they say, boss, want to do what? I said, don't know yet. Find first. Then you see the universe has a way to align. So after we found the place, simultaneously, I was catching up with the managers of the different outlets. And then my neighbor's dog is howling. Okay, so I very capable. I always go and find out about any abused dogs. Then after that, one day at Zoom like that, right? My bistro GM Chris, she said, I said, hey, so how's everybody? Then she said, hey boss, I put on a lot of weight. No, I said, why? You know, I got this new tenant, this Thai girl, she cook very well. Then every time she cook, I eat a lot. Then I said, I don't believe you. And that time we all cannot get out of the house. We're all like homebound, right, by the government. I said, I don't believe you. But delivery can. I said, the next time she cook, you go and tapao, then you hang outside my door, then you text me. You know, then she did that. So one day she said, the soft bone longan noodle soup is at your door. So I had a bite of it. Thank you. And it was like maybe it was stuck at home and eating too much Grab, and then so it doesn't taste Thai because it's a soft bone longan stew noodle soup. It was so good. I was like, I need to meet her once we can get out of this our home. And so in August, when we reopened, I went to meet her, I think late July, and we asked her to prepare some food for my partners and myself to try. And they brought the food. She didn't come. Okay, Chris brought the food, and then we had a meeting. I was like, okay, let's do. I haven't even met her. Okay, let's open up something if we can find the place. And at the same time, that weekend, the Bar Naked boys who were scouring through opportunities say, we found a place, you know. So it's just everything just for. And then I met her, and her name was Candy, and that's why I named the place Soy Candy, because in that place, to me, she's the star. I'm not the star, right? Because she creates such great. If you come here, I must bring you there, because then I found out later that in Thailand she was a Michelin chef, but she's so understated. So her story quite tragic lah. Then during COVID, got divorced, got lost her job as well, and then like every day at home, nothing to do. All she wants to do is to cook. She loves cooking. And she's beautiful. So we just gave her a proposal like, would you like to be a partner and join us as a partner? We will run everything else, but you just do the cooking. And that's how Soy Candy got started. Like within, I think it was 14 days, we made a decision. We found a place. We set up the kitchen. Another 2 weeks. So within a month, I think we set up Soy Candy.
What a brilliant story.
Yeah. Well, I think we have a date at Soy Candy when I get to Singapore.
We have, yes. you know, Zahir and Chaco, the most important thing and the saddest thing for me is I hear people with great ideas all the time. You know, when Grab came out, someone I know will say, oh, I had this idea, you know, someone came out with something, this catering thing for post-medical, and then someone will say, I had this idea. The problem with people is they have ideas, but they never take into action. You know, they never bring it to action. And my problem is the other one. I just action first if I want to do something. And sometimes, and many times I fail. So the question here is, it's really, if you want to do something, get your acts together and just do it, you know, because even with the failures, I would still advise you to try. The last thing you want on your deathbed is, I should have done this. I should have told her I love her. I should have opened this Thai restaurant. The food was so good. I should have started fly. You know, a lot of young people has great idea, even old people as well. You know, they are hindered by their age. I'm too old to start this. Oh, I'm a woman, I cannot do this. I'm a guy, I don't know how to cook. You know, no. If you want to do something, you can be anything. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Just don't procrastinate and don't give yourself excuses. That's what I want to say.
That's why I admire and love you so much, Irene. You just get out there and do it.
Yeah, wait, I turn around, all my battle scars are behind. all the slash and the poking all kena already.
Well, I think that's a beautiful way to round up this interview with that outgoing message. And I know you've got to go do your hosting thing, right, in a few minutes.
Yes. I wish I could spend more time because it's such a enjoyable time. And I hope that your audience will, even if this interview, and that's always my KPI, if this interview touched one person or wake up one person or help one person, you know, we would have attained our goal in this session. We would not have wasted our 1 hour on a Saturday afternoon like this.
Thank you so much for making that time for us. I mean,
no. Thank you for having me, and thank you for waiting.
Very grateful.
Yeah. You know,
well, Irene, it's been a pleasure. Thanks to Chaco for all the great insight and research, and really you're so engaging. I know you said that you enjoy watching Bollywood. I'm going to leave you with one movie. If you haven't seen it yet, it's called 83. You have to check it out, okay?
What is it about?
83. It's about cricket and India.
I've watched it. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. I've watched the prostitute that became the mayor of the town.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's very good. I haven't watched it.
Awesome. I watched Dangle. I've watched Madani 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah.
Not seen
the cricket one. The cricket one I watched already. It's really good. Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope I could come on again next time or something, or we could talk. But just be my guest when you come to Singapore, and I hope that you enjoy.
And likewise, when you come to KL, and we'll introduce you to the rest of the Boleh team. Yeah, they would all love to meet.
They'd love to meet you. Yeah,
thank you so much. You guys too. Thank you, and God bless everyone.
Thank you, Jaco.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.